Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about some more normal fragrances. I talk about some weird stuff on the channel. I'm talking about vintage, unobtainable, amouage fragrances and, a Riche L'Adore. We're going to sample this brand's nobody has ever heard of. Today, we're going to take a step back and revisit some of my favorite designer fragrances that I currently own and that I have previously owned. A lot of people have requested a video like this where I go back and basically just go through a lot of, I don't want to say like noob fragrances, but like starter fragrances that are readily available, cheaper, but still absolutely fantastic, because you have to remember, price doesn't mean that it's good. Read. Whoa, I probably made some people angry there, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys the bottles that I own, spoiler, and then we're going to do a bit of a quick fire segment near the middle part of the video where I go through a ton of designer fragrances that I've owned, experienced, I have worn in many different situations that I think are worth your time and interest. And I'm not going to say money because I'm not trying to get you guys to buy things, but we'll just go through everything. If you enjoy it, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and starting off with, God, dare I say, maybe my favorite designer fragrance currently. It is, of course, the legendary Chanel Antea. Now, okay, disclaimer, when you watch somebody that talks about fragrances on YouTube, you have to understand their taste. My taste, as of right now, I would say I really enjoy the classic masculine-leaning stuff a lot. Antaeus is absolutely more in that mature, perhaps dated style, people would say. But this fragrance, in my opinion, is still some of the best value from a designer brand out there. Like, I think this is about $140. It's worth every penny, in my opinion. This is a beautiful aromatic leather. It's got some dirtiness. It's got some beautiful floral touches with that rose, especially in the modern formulation. The modern formulation of this, which is what you're going to be buying now, is a lot fresher, it's more wearable, and it's way less offensive than the version originally released in the 80s and even in the early 2000s. So if you want something that is masculine in a decisive way, timeless, I would really consider Chanel Antaeus, or at least try it. Another fragrance from Chanel I think is worth every penny that you can still buy today is Chanel Egoiste. Now, this is a very rare version of Egoiste. This is Egoiste Cologne Concentrate. They still make just the normal Chanel Egoiste. I believe it is around $140 for 100 ml. Now, we're going to talk about cheaper fragrances. I'm just talking about the bottles that I own. But again, Egoiste is worth every penny in my opinion. It is a beautiful, warm, floral, sandalwood heavy fragrance. So it's woody, it's creamy, it's smooth, it's very inviting smelling. If you want a fragrance to wear in the colder months, definitely try Egoiste, even though you can wear it in any season. All right, I'm going to start a debate in the comment section with this, but I had to include this because of the price and the value and just how good it is. This is Guerlain Habit Rouge. This is the Eau de Toilette. Now, the debate that I think I'm going to start in the comment section is whether or not Guerlain is designer or niche. I don't really care because you can buy Habit Rouge for like $60. So it has to be mentioned in this video. Habit Rouge is probably one of the most famous fragrances from the House of Guerlain, especially in Europe. Not so much in the US, but it's still just such a phenomenal fragrance that I think is worth probably every penny at retail, but it's worth every penny especially at discounters, where, like I said, you can probably find this floating around for between $50 and $80, which is incredible value. The smell is a lot of things. This is a complex fragrance. It's citrusy in a beautiful sort of lemony bergamot way, but there's florals, there's a leathery nuance. It's sort of powdery, it's slightly dusty in like a citrusy way, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. I believe this released, oh god, just my knowledge on the fly here, I want to say in the 60s or the 50s, something along those lines. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Try Habit Rouge. It is beautiful. And the last designer fragrance I think is worth a mention that I own a full bottle of is a fragrance I have a full review of on the channel. This is Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum. Now, of course, this is the Parfum. The original is the Eau de Toilette. I would also recommend to you the Eau de Toilette. Just understand, it's way fresher than this, even though this is still pretty fresh. So, Eau Sauvage Parfum, I have a full review about it on the channel if you want to look at that. But basically, I would describe this as a thicker, denser, fuller, more resinous take on the original DNA. You have this beautiful citrusy, lemony, what's called elemi resin. It gives this fragrance a very particular thickness and sort of texture, viscosity, I guess is the word I'd use. It's green, it's masculine, it's got this beautiful vetiver note and lavender. It's definitely more mature. So, you know, for the gentlemen out there, Eau Sauvage Parfum is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so those are the bottles that I own. Now we're going to get into a more quick fire thing where I list off a bunch of fragrances that I've owned in the past, but I don't own currently that I think are still worth a mention here. All right, quick fire session here. So in no particular order, Prada L'Homme, both the original, the Eau de Toilette, and Prada L'Homme Intense, I think it's called. Both of these are really clean, powdery, fresh. The Intense is more of like a leathery, irisy sort of thing, whereas the original is really soapy, musky, clean, fresh. Prada as a brand, they have a really clean aesthetic, and you can pick these up for sub $100, I'm pretty sure. Really, really great fragrance. Another whole line from Guerlain. Highly recommend checking out the entire L'Homme Ideal line. Now, there are a bunch of different flankers within this line. The original is an Eau de Toilette. Everyone talks about the Eau de Parfum. They're very different from each other, but all of these fragrances, I think, can be found for under $100, except for maybe the Parfum and like some limited editions. They're all fantastic. I would say they lean more on the warmer, sweeter, fresher side of things. So, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal, there's the Eau de Toilette, the Extreme, the Eau de Parfum, a bunch of different ones. Now, this next one I wore the shit out of. I went through half a bottle before I finally moved it on to somebody else, but this is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense classic fragrance. I mean, everyone talks about this, or at least everyone did used to talk about this back when I was first getting into fragrances. Very clean and fresh with this blue marine sort of vibe, slightly salty. It's really airy as well. So that's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. A lot of these designer fragrances, guys, you're going to be able to wear them in any situation, any season imaginable. It's some of these I will mention if it's more cold weather friendly, in my opinion. But for a lot of them, it's going to be just fine to wear these in any particular situation. Okay, Hermes. I want to mention a few from Hermes for sure. Of course, the original, very, very famous Terre de Hermes, the Eau de Toilette, can be found for great deals on discounters every single day of the week. One of the best signature scents on the market, in my opinion, for really all ages. It does lean masculine, in my opinion. This beautiful orangey, vetiver, sort of mineralic fragrance with a woody touch. It's fantastic. Another one from Hermes that's really great is Hermes Bel Ami. Bel Ami, I'm not sure about the availability, but it's a wonderful leather fragrance. It's very aromatic, old school, great for the colder months. So if you're into leather and if you like stuff like Tom Ford ombre leather, I would definitely try to check out some of the Hermes designer leathers like Bel Ami, and yeah, just fantastic. Another one from Dolce & Gabbana, actually, the one Eau de Parfum. It's a date night classic, guys. Another 4-season banger. Now, it's kind of like a tobacco fragrance. I don't really know if I would describe it as a tobacco fragrance, at least with all the tobacco that I've smelled nowadays, but it's a warm, spicy, inviting, very well-behaved fragrance. It doesn't really push off the skin too much. It's very intimate. It's very close. So if you like fragrances like that, Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum is really fantastic. I do enjoy wearing that one quite a bit. God, what are some other ones? Oh, Bleu de Chanel. Well, I guess I'll mention some blue fragrances. So obviously Bleu de Chanel in any concentration. If I had to pick my favorite concentration, it would probably be the Parfum, because I like how dense it is and how it sits closer to the skin. If you want the quote unquote best version of it, I would say the Eau de Parfum. It's basically a masculine shower gel smelling fragrance, fresh, clean, inoffensive, the most versatile fragrance on the planet. Um, Now, a more unique take on the blue fragrance DNA would be from Loewe 7 Cobalt. This is much more herbal and aromatic with a slightly fruity touch. I think it's one of the best blue fragrances on the market. It's definitely the most unique blue fragrance I've ever smelled, and it doesn't smell as synthetic as something like Dior Sauvage, for instance. So check out Loewe 7 Cobalt. Really great for pretty much any season if you want that sort of fresh, clean feel. Speaking of fresh and clean and professional leaning this time around, another one from Chanel. I mentioned Egoiste before. I have to mention Platinum Egoiste, which is a completely different fragrance. It's a fougere fragrance that's very sharp and metallic and put together and professional smelling. It's slightly green, herbaceous, and very aromatic. It's got lavender in it. It does have a bit of a metallic edge, which is why I say it's like more of a professional dressed up sort of smell, but it's really beautiful. And I would say out of the designer fougères, I can't really think of many off the top of my head. So if you want a designer fougere, obviously Chanel is going to be one of your top brand choices there, just because of the aesthetic of that whole brand. Of course, I can't make a designer fragrance video without mentioning a Giorgio Armani. I have to mention Acqua di Gio. My personal favorite concentrations, or I guess flankers of Acqua di Gio, are the original, so the Eau de Toilette. They actually apparently reformulated it, and people are saying it's really, really good in the most brand new version of it. So the Eau de Toilette is fantastic, but my favorite is the Parfum / the discontinued Profumo. Now, the Parfum is going to get you about 95% of the way there to Profumo. So I just get the Parfum, especially the newer stuff as well. I hear it's really, really good. So if you don't know what Acqua di Gio is, it's definitely a marine leaning scent. It's fresh and clean. It's got that sort of salty marine herbal quality. The Eau de Toilette is definitely lighter and not as long lasting and fresher compared to the Parfum, which I would say is denser, longer lasting, and it has this sort of more mineralic, herbaceous, aromatic, textured quality about it that I really much prefer compared to the Eau de Toilette. All right, what else now? Dior Homme. Oh, Dior Homme, obviously. So if you can find Dior Homme Original, that is what it's called. That is, in my opinion, probably the best version of Dior Homme right now, besides Dior Homme Intense, which is more of like a warmer, more makeup-y iris experience, whereas Dior Homme Original is fresher and lighter. And I would actually recommend you avoid the brand new 2025 version of Dior Homme Parfum. That is a disgrace in my opinion, and you should not buy it. So there you have it. Mentioned a bunch of different designer fragrances I have owned at one point that I think they're just great. I think they're fantastic fragrances. The reason I got rid of them, and I want to say this because maybe some people will be confused, is just because, I don't know, I just gravitate towards different things nowadays because I've smelled so many things, and the collection is ever changing. So the fact that I don't own these anymore doesn't mean they're not good. I just want to make sure that that is established. So hopefully this was informative. Let me know if you want to try any of these in the comments section. And if you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and yeah, hope to see you guys in comment sections of future videos. I'll see you later.